Oh, Charles Robinson. I cannot tell you how that drives me crazy. I mean, this is the new coach's cliche. This whole line of thought that you know what, hey fellas, look, a lot of things. Give credit to them. Give credit to them first of all, but this is on me. No, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. It's on you. Okay, this is why I call BS on that for a couple of reasons. One, they spend a lot of time telling us this is the ultimate team sport. Hey, we win as a team, we lose as a team. It's all three phases, on and on. Then you come back and say it's on me. So you make it individual. Okay, so let me just pretend like I've rejected all of your comments about how it's a team sport, and I'm going to buy it that it is on you. If I ask follow-up questions about how you didn't do your job during the week, you don't want to talk about it now. You don't want specifics. You'll give me some generalities about, hey, we could have done some things better. Okay, no, wait, coach, come back. You are the head coach of the Minnesota Vikings. It's your full-time job. You're not bartending on the side. You're not doing something. It's not a speaking gig to make ends meet. You're a well-paid head coach of the team. What the hell were you doing during the week? Charles, this drives me crazy. I don't know if it hits you the same way it hits me. I can't stand hearing this.
It's what I call talk empty. That's the goal of coaches. Talk empty. Fill space, but don't really give actual traction to the point that you're trying to make. If it is on Kevin O'Connell, as you said, I want some specificity here. Did you not have hot reads for all those blitzes? Because I'm sorry, at the end of the day, Kevin O'Connell wasn't throwing off his back foot. He wasn't panicking. He wasn't looking completely uncomfortable, like he couldn't understand. I don't know if it was pre-snap reads. I don't know if it was disguises, but Kirk Cousins is a veteran quarterback. What's he got? 7 straight seasons with 25 plus touchdown passes. This is not a rookie. Okay. And I sat there and I watched last night and I thought to myself, number one, Jonathan Gannon, the defensive coordinator for the Philadelphia Eagles, is going to have a job. He very well could have been the Houston Texans coach last year, could have gotten that job. I do think he's going to be a prominent name in rotation going forward. But number two, the pressure he was scheming up, I just could not understand through the balance of the game why there was never any adjustment, which you could put on Kevin O'Connell. But here's my thing, again, with a veteran quarterback, someone who's been around, someone who's faced pressure, who's been on the primetime stage, who's thrown touchdown passes. Kirk Cousins throwing off his back foot, looking like Carson Wentz at times out there, like he's lost, just making horrible decisions. He's locking onto Justin Jefferson. Yeah, just bad throw after bad. I'm going to throw it up for Justin Jefferson to hope that this guy's the all-world talent he is, and he's going to come down with it. He got to know, by the way, Philadelphia's corners in particular, Darius Slay, pretty good corner. Okay, you have to know your person. Look, I get it. Kevin O'Connell trying to put it on yourself, and I think that was more him trying to take it off of Kirk, which is probably part of the job description that he felt like he had walking in there.
All right, well, let's talk about him for a second, because he's one of those guys that you always say about Kirk Cousins. Okay, not a great quarterback, but you could do worse than Kirk Cousins. And we all talk about, primetime Kirk, and that's a pejorative. Yeah, we talk about his record in these big games, but I wouldn't say, even though those numbers look terrible, 1 touchdown, 3 picks, it wasn't all him last night. They did a lot of things that just were head scratching. Are you comfortable enough to say about Kirk Cousins, he'll never be a guy you can rely on in big games? Do you feel comfortable saying that about him?
What's the scouting term that we hear all the time? Trucks and trailers, right? Is he a trucker? Is he a trailer? Is he pull you to the Super Bowl, or do you pull him to the Super Bowl? That kind of thing. We've always agreed he's not a truck, right? He's a trailer. He's someone that you can go to the Super Bowl with him, but he needs help. I think, like, when I look at that team around him, look, Dalvin Cook, not the greatest running game for Dalvin Cook. The offensive line clearly was struggling. There's a number of issues there offensively up front that I think created those problems for him. But I mean, Kirk is exactly who we think he is. Kwesi Adofo-Mensah, there's this big off-season, or preseason kind of kerfuffle because he comes out and basically calls Kirk what he is. You know, he insinuates that, hey, we don't necessarily need the greatest quarterback. Everything I read, by the way, from him by a piece that was done by Jory Epstein, who, by the way, Yahoo Sports became an employee of Yahoo Sports today. Shout out to Jory Epstein, who
how about that? Congratulations.
Yeah, Jory Epstein writes that story, and when I read it, I thought he told the truth. He told the truth about Kirk Cousins and the reality that this is not an elite quarterback in the NFL, but you can have success without necessarily having elite quarterbacks in the NFL. And he got in trouble for it because he said what the truth is, and we say it all the time. But you don't want the general manager saying it. You don't want the head coach saying it. But you know, again, he is what he is. He's a quarterback that, as I said, 7 straight years, I think 25 plus touchdown passes. Statistically, he's a guy who can be there. But when you play in primetime games, what are you typically playing? You're playing a primetime opponent, okay? And you're playing with an element of pressure. Not necessarily postseason pressure, but the big stage pressure. And you can look historically back and at a number of quarterbacks that were solid players, but didn't perform well on big stages or under big pressure or against the best opponents. And I think that's part of what we saw with Kirk. And we've seen it long enough now to know that the Minnesota Vikings are either going to have to continue to build an immense team around him over the next, they have 2 years. This is year 1 of a 2-year relationship that's left with Kirk Cousins. With the way his contract is structured, this is it. You got your shot here, but you need to start planning ahead for the next quarterback to move on, because he's never going to change beyond what he already is.
I want to ask you if you are getting as excited as I am about a showdown, an early season September showdown in the AFC East. You've got the undefeated Miami Dolphins taking on the undefeated Buffalo Bills for first place in the AFC East. I know it's early, but if Miami wins this game, will you look at Miami and say, well, wait a minute, I thought they'd be good, but now I may have to consider them real contenders? Well, is there anything that can happen in this game that will make you change what you already think?
They're absolutely, look, if they beat the Bills, like the Bills look like a juggernaut right now. And
man,
you know,
do they ever?
The Eagles look really good through two games, relatively, I guess you could say somewhat. Look, Detroit and Minnesota, maybe not, you know, world beaters there. But first things first, I'll throw a little cold water on this. Remember a year ago, okay, we watched the Arizona Cardinals come out like gangbusters, right? They beat the crap out of the Tennessee Titans. They beat San Francisco. They beat the Rams. We're like, oh my God, the Arizona Cardinals, this is it. This is it. A lot can change over the course of the season. But that said, Buffalo they look loaded. They look stacked. I mean, they look ready. And it's beyond just the talent. To me, they look like that team that is ready to take that next step, to ascend. They remind me of the first few years of Patrick Mahomes with the Kansas City Chiefs, where you saw not just Mahomes, but all the other players around him that were like, okay, who's going to beat us? That's how they feel right now. Miami, I will say this, the start for Tua has been magnificent. However, when you go back and you look at his performance this weekend, anytime a quarterback throws 5-6 touchdown passes in a game, it's ballistic. What it reminded me of, though, is look at some of those touchdown passes that were thrown.
Yeah.
When he was at his best at Alabama, it became a problem because people were looking at the film and they're saying it's hard to judge what he is as a potential NFL player because he's throwing touchdown passes to receivers who are 5 yards open, 10 yards open. That's not going to happen in the NFL. Well,
right.
Okay, it might if it does with Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle.
Right.
He can be a good quarterback, but I just don't know if you can count on 5-yard windows, which is what he had a lot of those in this last game. I don't know if you can count on that against the Buffalo Bills, because the Buffalo Bills, they can boat race any team in the NFL right now, and that's a lot of pressure for Tua to keep up with.
Yeah, you can see him. Like on one of them, Tyreek is sitting there waiting for it. He's just waiting for the ball for the ball to come down. That was an impressive as that was from Tua, and we talked about it a little bit yesterday. Just can't believe I saw the Baltimore Ravens do that defensively. I don't care who they're missing, who's coming back.
Yeah.
You know, Peters back, Humphrey back. Still, You don't usually see that. But Charles Robinson, always great to catch up with you, my friend. We will check in with you next week.
Sounds good. Thank you, Michael.
Hey, thanks for watching Brother from Another on YouTube. Make sure you hit subscribe before you leave, and be sure to watch us 3 to 5 p.m. Eastern Time on Peacock. Appreciate you.